Working part-time as a mum is a scam, part 2. If you haven't already, go back and watch part 1, but it essentially goes into the 5 mistakes that I made when I went back part-time after maternity leave with my first child. This video is for anyone who's thinking about changing their working pattern to a more flexible model after they've had a baby. I'm going to give you 5 suggestions of things that you can do to hopefully avoid the mistakes that I made and not end up feeling overworked, lonely and broke. I'm Ice2, I'm a mum of 2 girls, I live and work in London, I'm currently on my 2nd maternity leave. Number 1, don't rush the decision. Now, maternity leave is an amazing time where you're getting to spend quality time with your new baby. But if you're anything like me, it can also be a really quite stressful and emotionally tumultuous time. So it's not really the best time to make massive life decisions. For me, after my first baby, I felt like my whole world had been turned upside down. I was struggling to find my new identity as a mum. So when the time came to go back to work, I felt like because I was a mum, I would be happier part-time. And not just that I would be happier, that I should be happier. And the truth was, I wasn't. What I'd recommend is, if you can, use your holiday really smart. So when you're on maternity leave, you accrue annual leave just like you do when you're working. So you can use those days to have a phased return to work and maybe go back 4 or 3 days a week to really ease yourself into it. That'll give you a way to almost trial doing part-time hours without sacrificing your salary. 2 is to consider compressed hours before part-time hours. Now, I've done another video talking a little bit about this, so go and check that out. When you drop down your hours, say going down from 5 to 4, you're going to be sacrificing a large portion of your salary. And the way that compressed hours is that you still work the same amount of hours, but you just reduce them down into a smaller amount of days. This way, you still get that flexibility of being able to spend some extra time with your child and maybe save some money on nursery fees, but you're not sacrificing a huge portion of your salary. This is something that a lot of people were commenting on my last video saying that they're doing, and it's really working for them. Number 3 is to enact your boundaries. Now, the reason I say enact your boundaries and not set your boundaries is because often people feel like they have set their boundaries simply by telling people, I don't work that day, or my hours are X amount. But the reality is you need to do it. And you need to do it from day one that the change is made. So if you have Fridays off, for example, do not reply to people, do not agree to take calls, because as soon as you do that, it just signals to your team that you are available and willing and able to work on your day off. And it's such a slippery slope. Now, I know that depending on your industry, this one is really, really hard. So I have some more specific practical tips about how you can set your boundaries in the workplace coming up in another video. These next 2 are less about the time that you're in the office and more about the time that you're spending with your child to ensure that you don't end up feeling isolated and lonely. 4 is plan your days out with your child in advance. And this is one that your partner can really help you out on, because they are just as capable of looking up soft plays and stay in plays and activities to do with your kid as you are. But once you're back at work, you're going to be really busy, and planning those activities with your kid is going to be so hard. And before you know it, your day off is going to roll round and you're going to have this whole day stretching out ahead of you, and it's going to feel really daunting. So plan in advance and get out the house. If you don't get out the house, trust me, you will go mad. Number 5 is around how to beat loneliness. Now, loneliness in motherhood is something that I feel like we just don't talk about because there's so much guilt and fear around admitting that we're struggling. So I've got quite a few specific tips about how we can avoid feeling lonely as mums, which again, I'll go into in another video. One tip is to, when you have made it out and about with your kid, is to put your phone away. And this isn't because you should be really present with your child and savor every moment with them. Yes, of course, we're trying to do that. And it's not because we're enacting our boundaries and we're not checking our work emails, but it's because just by putting your phone away, you are signaling to any other parents out there that you are open and willing for a conversation. Studies have shown that interactions with strangers have such a positive impact on our mental health. So you may not make your new best friend in the playground, but by putting your phone away, it is so much easier to strike up a conversation with someone else. And trust me, that small interaction can have such a positive boost on your mood. And I bet it will have a positive boost on the other person too. And you know what? I've actually made 3 pretty decent parent friends just by striking up a conversation when we're both pushing our kids on the swings. So I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who interacted with my last video. I'm new to posting on TikTok and I was not anticipating such a positive response. So thank you so much. I read and I try and reply to every single comment, so please do keep them coming. The next 2 videos I have planned are around ways we can beat loneliness as parents and practical ways to set your boundaries in the workplace. So please let me know in the comments which one you'd like to see first.